It's time to sit back, relax, and listen to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life will inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change your attitude, change your life. And now, here's your host, Joan Herman.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. You're listening to us in your neighborhood from coast to coast and around the world. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Joan Herman, author, speaker, and your host. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life brings you interviews with some of the most inspirational and influential people in the world. It's our goal to educate and empower you so you can live your best life now. Thank you for taking time for yourself, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life. We have another great show for you today. Joining me today is Dr. Judith Orloff, who says that help is available to all of us that are stressed out once we learn to let go of our need to be in control and surrender to a healthier approach to living. Dr. Orloff is an assistant clinical professor of psychiatry at UCLA and a New York Times bestselling author. Her new book is entitled The Ecstasy of Surrender, 12 Surprising Ways Letting Go Can Empower Your Life. Dr. Orloff has appeared on The Dr. Oz Show, Today, PBS, CNN, NPR, and many others. Welcome, Dr. Orloff. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to be on your show.
Well, Doctor, we're happy to have you here because the statistics I find are quite alarming. According to a recent APA Stress in America survey, more than 4 out of 10 adults reported that their stress levels have increased over the past 5 years. Nearly 4 out of 10 say stress is affecting their happiness a great deal, and about the same number have felt overwhelmed in the past month. As a result of stress, there are more people with health problems, weight gain, poor sleep, less happiness, and dysfunctional relationships, and it appears to be getting worse. So, doctor, tell us, is there any good news?
Oh, there is good news, definitely, because there's a way to turn around stress, and that's why I wrote The Ecstasy of Surrender, because as a physician, what I've seen with my patients is that patients stress themselves out by pushing too hard, by trying too hard, by clenching, by holding, by working themselves up with negative stories. And the purpose of the book is to teach people how to surrender those negative attitudes or habits so that the stress can go down and adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormones, can go down so that when you can let go at the proper moment rather than pushing, over-efforting, then you can get the endorphins flowing, the blissful neurochemicals that make you feel wonderful and relaxed.
Doctor, do you believe that most stress originates internally or externally?
Well, the stress is external. They're very real stresses. You know, there's job stress, there's relationship stress, there's health stressors. However, the way we deal with stress is what makes the difference. So you can either work it up or you can begin to surrender negative stories you tell yourself about things, or relax the body and, take steps to let go and surrender toxic relationships. So we can take action based on letting go of what's not good for us. And as a result, then our stress levels go down.
And that's when we get our power back, because the way we react is when we have our power. So it really is within our control. We're not powerless.
No matter what's happening in our lives, we always have control over our attitude. We can control our mind. I mean, I'm a big believer in the mind-body-spirit connection. And when you're able to surrender the negative thoughts and say, okay, I have low self-esteem, or I beat myself up, I feel less than, I compare myself with others, but I'm willing to let this go and find another way to be, then your stress level goes way down and you get happier. Now, the point of my writing this book is to help people find happiness within and removing all the obstacles to happiness, such as what we do in our own heads to ourselves over any situation, so that we can be kinder to ourselves and really enjoy the life that, we're given, rather than just be stressed out every day.
Doctor, you believe that there are common types of addictive stress. What are they?
There are many kinds of addictive stress. You can have addictive stress to workaholism. You can have addictive stress to relationships. You can have addictive stress to negative habits and patterns inside of yourself. You can have addictive stress to anything that isn't good for you, such as food. Many people that I work with are food addicts, or sex addicts. And so stress can come as a result of your obsessional activity with other people. Because if you start obsessing in your mind about anything, whether it's I'm never going to get that promotion, I'm never going to get enough money to live on, whatever it is, that frantic kind of addictive stress, then that increases the stress hormones. When you can live in the now, the thing about letting go of addictive stress is to bring your attention back to what you can do today and really begin to let go of those negative catastrophizing thoughts of what's going to happen in the future and surrender to the now, and even during times of strife, to try and look at what you have to be grateful for, because gratitude increases your endorphins and all the blissful chemicals. And I've worked a lot with people on the deathbed and about to pass over, and when they look back, they never say, I wish I would have worked more. I wish I would have made more money. They never say that. They always say, I wish I would have spent more time with my family. I wish I would have had more love. I wish I would have risked more in my life and just lived the life I wanted. You see, so that's what the ecstasy of surrender is about, like doing that now, not waiting till your final moments to make that decision. As everybody listening could make that choice today, and letting go of what other people think of you so you can lead your own life is critical to happiness, critical. And so that's part of the ecstasy of surrender process that I teach in the book. It's just leading your own life. I mean, even if you want to do something really far out that your mother doesn't approve of or whoever doesn't approve of it, do it anyways. I mean, this is your life, and people need to risk a little more and let go to their deepest dreams and desires.
Doctor, what about financial stress? There's a lot going on within the economy that is out of our control. What are some ways that people can ease money-related stress?
Well, the most important way is to begin to work with your tendency to obsess about worry. And concern is one thing. I mean, concern is natural, in our financial climate. But worry, which is an obsessive thinking, takes concern into the realm of suffering. And so what I suggest for all my patients who are undergoing financial stress, and anyone out there, is to begin to focus on what you can do in the moment, even if it's a tiny little thing. Maybe paying off $5 on a bill. What you can do in the moment, and put your mind on that, because that generates positive energy, rather than catastrophizing. And the end result of the financial worry is I'm going to end up on the streets destitute. That if you take it to the end, which I do with my patients, so they can let that go. I mean, that's usually the worst fear. If you let go of that story, which is so negative and probably untrue for most people, you bring it back to the now, what you can do. And also using intuition. I work a lot with intuition in my patients in terms of surrendering to the inner voice, because when you can get out of your head, your worried mind, and drop into your intuition, the gut feeling, or the enteric nervous system that has all those neurotransmitters in the gut that are so wise, just like the brain. If you begin to tune in to your gut and your intuition for answers you might not have thought of with your worried mind, that can bring ingenious solutions. I had one patient who couldn't find a job anywhere, and he looked and he did everything, and through our work together, just by learning to let go of his worry a bit and tuning into intuition, he had a flash just to look at a little throwaway newspaper. And he always thought it was not prestigious enough, but because of our work, he looked at the little newspaper, and it was there that he found an ad for his job that he loves now. You see, so intuition, you have a wise part of you inside that goes beyond worry. So everyone who can't seem to find a solution to anything, whether it's relationship or financial stress, learn to tune in. I have steps on how you can tune into your inner voice and listen during times of adversity.
Doctor, do you think that a lot of us are afraid to trust our intuition?
I think so, because we're not educated about what's trustworthy. Usually trustworthy intuitions are either neutral or they're compassionate. They don't have a lot of emotional charge associated with them. It's just informational in terms of what comes in. And so when you begin to, trust and tune in, you can try out smaller intuitions, such as if you get an intuition, turn left instead of turn right when you go to work. What the mind will do is talk you out of it, saying that's ridiculous, whatever. But what I'm saying is just trust that, turn left and see what happens. Maybe you'll avoid a big traffic jam. So people have to begin to program themselves to listen to their inner voice and surrender to it and let go of the mind sometimes. The mind doesn't know everything, and the mind is what gets very worried. And when you're worried and anxious, that's not a place to make good decisions. You have to begin to shift to a very calm, still place inside to make good decisions and never make a decision out of anxiety and stress.
Doctor, what about someone who may have gotten a life-altering diagnosis and is dealing with a very real illness? How can that person let go of a lot of the stress that's attached to that? Because we know that in order to heal, you need to do that. So what would you offer to that person?
You do. I mean, I have a chapter on how surrender can help illness and pain. And one thing, a basic principle of surrender is that what you resist persists. And if you tighten up and clench, the pain is going to get worse. That's just, a law of the body. So if you learn to relax more with pain or discomfort rather than tightening, and the negative stories you tell yourself around pain also cause you to tighten, which makes the adrenaline pump through your system, which decreases immunity, which is not what you want during healing an illness. And what you want is really to look at illness as, as spiritual journey. You have not done anything wrong. You didn't cause it. I mean, even if you were a smoker and that contributed, to lung cancer, it's not a way to look at how to heal. You have to forgive yourself for whatever you did and go forward towards healing. And look at it in terms of how this illness can help you to open your heart and become a better person and become more loving with yourself and your body. See, the thing is that, a lot of people have self-loathing for their bodies, and if they haven't worked to surrender that, I have a chapter on the divinity of the body and how to let go of the self-loathing that most people have. But if you don't do that work when you get an illness and you have that self-loathing, it doesn't help with the healing process. So that's why surrender is so important before. But even if you do have self-loathing of the body, you can begin at any moment, because you have to shower your body with positive energy. You have to surrender the energy vampires in your life, on how you can let go of these draining negative people when you heal, because you have to have a positive bubble around you when you heal. It's absolutely essential. You can't have draining energy suckers around you. You can't do it. That's very important, to surrender those relationships, that are not healthy for you. And I suggest you do that anyways, or learn to set clear limits and boundaries with them so you're not devoting too much time to these energy suckers. So look at your life. What's working? Where can I exert control and go for it and it's working? And where isn't it working? So you could begin to let go of patterns that aren't working and focus on what is working. And I just want to say, as much as you might want to control everything, I could totally relate to that. You can't. Life doesn't work that way. And that's why I have a chapter on surrender in the natural world, because I think when people are out in nature and looking, how does water deal with the boulder that's obstructing its path? It flows around it. It doesn't just keep going up against that boulder. To be able to look at how water deals with things, learn from nature in terms of what works, because we're part of the natural world. We're human beings and we're in bodies, and we're very connected, and to reconnect with that and learn how to flow a little bit more with the rhythms of life. It's a dance, rather than just push your way through, strong arm your way through life and just feel exhausted.
The book is The Ecstasy of Surrender, 12 Surprising Ways Letting Go Can Empower Your Life. If you'd like more information, you can visit her website, drjudithorloff.com. That's ORLOFF.com. Doctor, thank you so much for being here with us today and providing strategies to help us learn how to let go, reduce stress, and take control of our life. I really appreciate your wisdom.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
We'll be right back. It's time for Medical Minutes. Joining me today is weight management coach Linda Spangle, who says that the dreaded scale can be a positive weight loss tool once we change our relationship with it. Linda is an authority on emotional eating and other psychological issues of weight loss. Her newest book is entitled Friends with the Scale: How to Turn Your Scale into a Powerful Weight Loss Tool. Welcome, Linda. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Linda, I hate the scale. It's not my friend. It never has been. So I'm hoping that you can help me learn to like it a little bit more. So how can someone like me learn to view the number on my scale as information that is not positive or negative?
And you are so not alone. So many people, and women particularly, just have such a difficult time with the scale. We play games with it to try to get a better number, or we pretend that it's not there. We ignore it when we know we're gaining weight. I actually think the key to changing all of that is working on sort of retraining yourself and coming up with just a whole different attitude about it.
Now, you say that understanding how the scale works can help us lose weight. How is that possible?
Well, for one thing, the most common thing is that we get on the scale on a strange day, the scale number has gone up, and we think that we're a failure, so we go to the refrigerator and start eating. Many times the scale number is a reflection of a lot of other things, like, do you know that even the barometric pressure can affect what you see in the scale? Or if you had a higher salt meal the day before. So instead of thinking that the scale number is a reflection of you and your actions, you just have to learn to see it as data and know that over time the tracking of the data is what's really going to count.
Linda, is it a mistake to weigh yourself every day?
I think it's a personal decision. In fact, I have a quiz in the book. You can even do it online, thescalequiz.com, that helps you decide, are you a person who should keep your scale or should you throw it away? And if you are a person who should keep your scale, what's the best timing for you? Should you weigh every day or once a week? I just think it's a very personal thing. And by the way, if you decide to weigh once a week, you should never do it on a Monday, because Mondays are a reflection of changes we did over the weekend. So the best day, if you're going to weigh once a week, is on Wednesday.
Linda, what are the other times that one should never step on a scale?
There's actually some really important ones. First of all, anytime you've been traveling, it takes your body at least 2 to 3 days to get back to kind of a homeostasis. So whether it's air travel or even in a car, I always encourage people, wait at least 2 or 3 days before you get back on the scale. Other times would be after a vacation or after holidays. And there's actually one last one, and that is at times when you feel really vulnerable. Because sometimes it's just you're better off to just stay off the scale and not put yourself at risk for having that really negative effect.
Now, you say that we shouldn't discuss our weight, and I'm with you on that one. I haven't discussed mine in years. So why do you say that we shouldn't discuss our weight?
Again, it's a personal decision whether you choose to talk about it or not, but I think what we have to recognize, no one owns your weight number except you. So it's fine for you to keep that very private and let you be in charge of it entirely. So if somebody wants to know, well, how much weight have you lost? You don't need to tell them, because sometimes that just gets you kind of nervous and you think they're going to be watching you and all those things. I think it's an individual decision. Some people are pretty comfortable with sharing numbers. I think a lot of people are thrilled to find out that it's not required and it's good for them to just keep it private.
Now, you say also that we should step on, step off, and then leave. How can we do that? I mean, I know you've given some strategies here, but what is your main advice to help someone to let go of what they've seen?
I think that takes practice. It's timing more than anything. So you get into a ritual of, suppose you weigh yourself every day. You kind of know the best thing is first thing in the morning, before you've put on clothes, before you've eaten or drank anything, step on the scale, note the number, step back off the scale, write it down if you want to, and then ignore it the rest of the day. Don't ever go back. Don't get on it again. Don't weigh yourself at nighttime. And you know what? If you do that over time, you'll train yourself. Nope, it's data. I've accomplished my goal, which was I've gathered today's data, period.
Linda, thank you so much for being here with us. The book is Friends with the Scale, How to Turn Your Scale into a Powerful Weight Loss Tool. And if you'd like more information, you can visit the website weightlossjoy.com.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
We'll be right back.
Have you ever started a workout program felt absolutely driven, confident, you get through the first month and successfully lose a couple of pounds, to then only plateau and not be able to keep your weight off? How frustrating is that? I'm Susanna Cordova, certified nutritionist, certified personal trainer, and a member of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics at Active Center for Health and Wellness in Hackensack, New Jersey. And I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. According to a research in American Journal of Preventive Medicine, more than 1,100 successful dieters found that strategies for slimming down may not necessarily help keep the weight off. Why not, you ask? Simply because the motivation and reasoning you initially had isn't always enough. The best way to keep yourself motivated is to remember why you were motivated in the first place. Revisit your eating habits. To lose weight and to keep it off, you need to continue eating healthy snacks. Don't skip meals, maintain proper portion sizes, drink plenty of fluids, get enough sleep, and always limit your sugar intake. It may sound rigorous, but it's a discipline. Give yourself a cheat meal and reward yourself on a Saturday and choose only one meal to cheat on. You will look forward to it when you know that you have been sticking to your diet and exercise plan all week. Most importantly, don't be too hard on yourself. Set realistic goals and be proud of how far you have come. You need to like what you see, and you need to look forward to a healthier you. Be consistent and enjoy the journey. For more information, visit activecenter.com. And I'm Susanna Cordova, and I want you to stay strong.
We all want to live a happy, productive life, but sometimes we just need a little help. Our Coach On Call expert provides strategies to help you live your best life now. Joining me today is Renee Bongelo, a success coach, speaker, thought leader, and founder of Starians. Renee helps entrepreneurs and career builders up-level their relationship with self and money to discover their true path to accelerate their income and live fully expressed. Welcome, Renee. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Joan. Thank you for having me.
Renee, so many of us complain about not having enough money. We fear we won't earn enough. Sometimes we even have a negative approach to it. So why do you think so many of us have hang-ups with money?
The big hang-up personally with money is worth, self-worth, and how do we value ourselves. So we kind of look at it as putting a price tag on ourselves. And in order to have the price tag that you desire, you have to work out your own personal value and your own personal worth. And that's really where it starts.
So Renee, how do we know if we have a hang-up? How do we know if this is a block for us?
Well, one of the ways that we can look at it, number one, would be, are you earning the income that you truly desire? Are there things that you'd like to have, places that you'd like to go? You know, what would you want to do, share, or have that you're not doing right now? And when we look at that, we have to ask ourselves the question, why? And if things are coming up for you like, I can't make that much in the industry that I'm in, or no one will ever pay me that much, or, you know, the economy is not good, if we're starting to come up with reasons why we don't have the income that we truly desire, and also a lot of people feel like, well, other people need it more than I do, or other people deserve it more than I do. Those are the blocks that come up. But if you don't have what you want, then you have a block, and that's where you need to get support.
So Renee, once we recognize these blocks, how can we move past them?
The first thing we have to do is get really clear on where they come from. And most of our money blocks are going to come from the story that our parents or whomever raised us told us. So, for instance, I found out when I started doing this work that my biggest block was I learned that the way to make money was to work hard. And the harder you work, the more money you make. And if you need more money, you just work more. So you get another job, or you just do something really difficult and you'll get paid more. So what happened was I realized that I thought that every cent that I earned had to come from, you know, giving my life's blood. And then when I thought about earning a lot of money, I said, well, that would mean that I just would have to work till I died, or I'd have to give up my life to have it. And then I started doing the work, and what I needed to figure out was how to find the ease and flow and letting money come through me and throughout my life. So the first thing you have to do is become aware of it and decide, is this something I was taught, or is this something I truly believe? And a good way to actually find that indicator is, would you tell a child that? Would you tell a child that they're not worth it, or don't do what you want to do for a living because you'll never make it? And that's a really good way to decide, do I have a hang-up? Do I actually believe this? So it's actually taking what you've been doing, which is a habit, and deciding whether it's a thought or a belief. Like, were you taught this, or do you actually believe it? So that's the first step.
Renee, thank you so much for being here with us today. If you'd like to get more information about Renee, or if you would like to book a free 30-minute strategy session with her, you can visit her website, starrience.com. That's STARRIENCE.com. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found the show informative. At Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, we believe that knowledge is power. Take what you've learned, apply it, and live your best life now. Remember that the information provided are the opinions of our guests and should never replace the advice of a professional who knows your personal situation. If you'd like more information, visit our website, CYACYL.com. That stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While on the site, listen to past shows on demand, read the digital magazine, take part in the book club, and be sure to follow the show on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, this is Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.